What up, rookies? Welcome to the first episode of Rookie News, a series on this channel where I'll be covering new advancements in the filmmaking and TV, overall media landscape. First, I would like to cover the new Resident Evil trailer, directed by Zach Cregger, shot by Darius Wolfsky, starring Austin Abrams. We've seen Austin Abrams appear in Zach Cregger's Weapons. I'm really excited about this little partnership they have going on. I would love to see maybe what they even do next after this. But honestly, I'm really excited for this. I know people were skeptical. I was one of them. When I heard the news, I was like, okay, we're getting another Resident Evil. With the films by Paul W.S. Anderson starring Mila Jovovich were all just kind of horrible. They were like mindless action movies with zombies, just with the Resident Evil title. It really wasn't anything special or had anything to do with the games, honestly. But then we got the Raccoon City film, directed by Johannes Roberts. That was literally like a shot-for-shot film of the game, but to be honest, it was just a mediocre film itself. So when this was announced, I was like, okay, something else. But the difference is we have Zach Cregger attached. We have seen him do Barbarian, which I liked. Weapons was a big fan favorite of last year, and I liked that film a lot too. And I was excited to hear when he was attached to it because he knows how to make a fun horror film and even combining that with thrilling action, which is what I think Resident Evil should be. And people are saying, oh, it looks nothing like the game, looks nothing like anything. I'm like, well, it's more like the game than what we have had before with other films. And to me, it looks like maybe another offshoot, it could be a different game, honestly, itself. And I know that Zach was even saying he wants to cover that third-person kind of shooter feel that we had with the game, using a lot of those over-the-shoulder shots that we see, which is really cool, using those techniques. It's shot by Darius Wolfsky, the DP behind Dark City, which he's a great DP. I mean, Dark City is a very underrated film. I watched it for the first time last year, and I thought that was a strong film, strong visuals, lots of great contrast. And from the trailer, it also looks very well shot and beautiful. It looks like Zach is not afraid to use nice color, which we've seen in his past films, which it's kind of crazy that we even have to point out color and contrast in films now because of how these digital films look, because everything looks so muddy and horrible nowadays. But I do want to make a point to say it looks very visually great. I like Austin Abrams a lot as an actor. I love that Zach has been using him a lot. And yeah, we'll have to see. It's shot for IMAX, which has me even more fucking hyped because I love IMAX. I'm a big sucker for it. To see that on the IMAX screen will be great. I think this might be what the best Resident Evil film we'll get. It comes out September 18th, and best believe I'll be there. Next, I want to discuss Michael. It has already surpassed, it's funny, in my notes I have it here saying it got 200 million, which was crazy. Now it's gotten over 300 million, though, after this. Made 300 million in the box office, and it's looking like it's not letting up anytime soon. Everyone and their mother has been talking about this. I mean, you go to work, you talk to your family, you talk to your friends. Everyone has been talking about this. It's making crazy discourse. It will definitely be everyone's personality until Halloween. It's everyone's personality right now. So just imagine when Halloween comes and everyone is dressed up like, dressed up like Michael. It's going to be fucking insane. I can definitely see it make that 600 million, 700 million to $1 billion range. I'll be very surprised if it honestly doesn't just make a straight billion. It is confirmed that part 2 is filming. We're not surprised. Obviously, a Michael movie is going to get greenlit for part 2. I know that was their plan. I know they wanted to just do everything in one. We couldn't just get an expanded story with that first film, which kind of sucks. I know now they're probably going to cover the controversies naturally. I don't really want to see that. We'll see. I have my Michael review. It's linked in the description. You can see what I think about that film. It was, it had its good and bad things. I thought it was pretty well made. It could have been a lot better. But yeah, crazy box office numbers. Oh, let's talk about Letterboxd. Letterboxd is currently looking for a new buyer. The Canadian company Tiny, which has a 60% controlling stake in the company, is looking to sell that 60% controlling stake in order to pay off debts apparently and cash out. People are obviously upset about this, as many of us are growing tired of the ongoing buying and merging of companies. It's been happening time and time again. We've seen it with the Warner and Paramount. We've seen it with a lot of other companies. We shouldn't be too surprised because a lot of companies are honestly built to cash out a lot of the time. Hopefully this isn't a change for the worse. Hopefully it could be for the better or just stay the same. I am a little bit surprised by this potential selling because sure, it's been around for a while. I know it's pre-COVID, which is how I calculate a lot of the timelines of things. But I feel like just now in the last couple of years have been getting so much popularity. You see these videos of celebrities on the red carpet, they know what Letterboxd is, they're prepared to talk about their top 4. You go online, everyone's talking about Letterboxd. It's almost super competitive with Rotten Tomatoes as far as, especially for me, I don't look at Rotten Tomatoes much anymore. I'd rather look at the average Letterboxd score to see how a film is. which obviously I don't depend on it too much, but sometimes it's nice to see what your friends or people think of the film, like everyday people, what their opinions are. Letterboxd is becoming that daily go-to for a lot of these cinephiles, and not just cinephiles, but your friend or your family member may have it. It's not reaching that YouTube or Instagram hype probably anytime soon, which I'm glad. I don't really think it needs to be honest, but it's gained a lot of popularity, so that's why I'm surprised. Oh, now they want to sell, now they're already looking for some new buyers, so we'll have to see what new advancements are made for this. I just hope they don't change it up for the worst. I would hate to see this become some bad merger or become some bullshit, because Letterboxd is a very well-made app. Next, we have the Django and Zorro crossover film. There is no confirmed director for this. However, Brian Helgeland, the writer behind LA Confidential and Mystic River, is penning the script. Surprise, surprise. Quentin is not writing this or directing it, which it does kind of suck, but ooh, Quentin wants to keep his 10th film so mysterious. He wants to make sure it's perfect. You know, that's neither here nor there. I won't touch on that too much. What the fuck Quentin has been up to the last few years. He loves to stir up some fucking controversy. With Django and Zorro, when I heard this news, I was like, okay. I was a little more calm when I realized that it was based off the comic. I forgot all about that. Me and my brother were talking about it. But even then, I'm like, okay, why exactly? I mean, other than just to make some money off of some existing IP. We see this time and time again, but it could be fun. I love the Django film. I haven't watched the Zorro film in a long time, probably since I was a kid. Maybe I'll have to give that a rewatch to see how it's gonna really mesh. Can it mesh? I mean, as a live action film, obviously it could work as a graphic novel, but when we do see these things as films, it could be a lot different. So we'll have to see. Brian Helgeland is a good writer. I do like LA Confidential. I don't love it as much as other people. I don't think it's some crazy classic, but I think in terms of LA noir, it was very special. And Mystic River is a great film. One of my favorite films, not just by Clint Eastwood, but just in general. Super well acted. He knows how to make a clean script, so at least we could get something clean and well made out of this. It sucks that there's no confirmed director. That has me a little worried, because now I'm like, okay, this is like a studio thing where they're just approaching people to make it and no one wants it. We'll have to see. We got the new Clayface trailer. Oh my god, Clayface looks so fucking good. At first, I was also skeptical about this, similar to Resident Evil, but learning that it was made by Mike Flanagan. I kept forgetting Mike Flanagan was writing the script. Mike Flanagan is one of my favorite filmmakers. I wish he was just directing it, but I know he's very busy with a lot of projects, and especially shows, and he has an Exorcist film coming up, he has a Carrie show coming up. But learning that he wrote this film had me so excited. I love Mike Flanagan. I'm not sure how to feel about James Gunn's overall DC just yet. I did think Superman was pretty good. I had my issues with it. Supergirl, I'm actually excited for compared to most people. But we'll have to see what James Gunn does with this. But after seeing the Clayface trailer, I do think it looks strong, especially for a body horror film. It really looks like, even though, yeah, sure, this is, you know, we have the comics and we've seen Clayface be creepy in comics and cartoons, but I'm glad that they're actually going for a straight up body horror DC film. It's like they're really setting out to make a solid horror film, it looks like. Like, to me, David Cronenberg could have made this. You know, I think this could have been David Cronenberg at the height of his career. I love the uses of practical effects. I love that, you know, James Gunn was saying, yeah, you know, when we're out in public, like, we don't care, we're using practical effects, we're not using bad CGI, which I thought was really fucking cool. I am a little worried, though. It's directed by James Watkins. I really didn't like Speak No Evil that much. He did the Speak No Evil remake, which, you know, it was pretty well acted. I love James McAvoy. I like Scoot McNairy. To me, the film was just really stupid, not well written at all. Direction was okay at best, so I'm hoping that with Clayface, we'll see a lot more of his potential, and maybe it'll be a lot more of a solid film. Just give me a solid Clayface film. I don't need something amazing, but I also don't want it to be bad. Give me something good. I don't know too much about Clayface other than that, you know, obviously he's a Batman antagonist. I'm curious to see how it works, though, as a solo film, because off the vibes of the trailer, it feels like Sam Raimi a bit. It feels like David Cronenberg, so give me a classic horror feel and I'm there. Oh, yes, we have Curry Barker's Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. This to me was crazy. You know, I know that they acquired the rights to Texas Chainsaw. They're trying to push out these more IPs. Usually I'm not excited for IP, you know, sequels for horror like this when it comes to these announcements, but seeing that Curry Barker's name is attached has me really excited, because, you know, That's a Bad Idea is a great skit channel. They've gotten a great following from that. Curry's really fucking funny. You have Obsession this month, which I'm really fucking excited for. That's why I'm really excited for Texas Chainsaw, because Obsession seems like a fresh horror film that we really probably haven't seen in a while. And Milk and Cereal was really solid too. That was more like a short feature. I guess you call it a feature, which I thought was really solid, really creepy, had uncomfortable atmosphere. So I'm curious what he can do with Texas Chainsaw. I will admit, do not jump down my throat, okay? I'm not the biggest Texas Chainsaw fan. The original is a pretty solid film. I can see the impact it had on horror, but I don't love it. I don't really think it's a classic, in my opinion. The sequels to me were just all over the fucking place. I always did like the remake with Jessica Biel when I was younger. I think that might just be nostalgia, even though it's well made, but it's definitely nostalgia and just what I shared with my brother. But with this, I'm pretty excited because I think, even with Curry Barker saying, people think, Texas Chainsaw is done, it's one and done, but what could there be more to say with these horror franchises? And he thinks, no, Texas Chainsaw could have a lot more to say and has more potential. So that actually had me very intrigued. So I'm definitely going to be keeping up with this news. I will be seeing that in theaters. I can't wait to see what he does with it. Alex Garland's Elden Ring advancements. We saw big cast announcements recently with Kit Connor will be in the film, Kaylee Spaney, Sonoya Mizuno, Nick Offerman, among many others. It looks like a very stacked cast, especially people that we've seen work with Alex Garland before. Kit Connor, he was in Alex Garland's Warfare. Kaylee Spaney appeared in Civil War and Devs. We had Nick Offerman in Civil War and Devs. We had Sonoya Mizuno, who did Ex Machina, Civil War, and Devs. It really seems like there's a big pattern with that. I don't know if that's just, as a director, you are going to work with familiar faces, and it's really nice. He's establishing his own little world there. I love Alex Garland as a writer and director. I think he's pretty underrated, especially as a director. I think because he started off writing mainly with Danny Boyle. Then we saw him do great films like Dread. He knows how to write a very intriguing script, maybe about society or politics as a whole. But we've seen him delve into directing with Ex Machina. That was strong. Annihilation, I think, is still my personal favorite film of his. Probably that and Civil War. Warfare was a very well-made war film that came and went. I thought it was really underrated, very immersive. So obviously Alex can tackle a great script and great action with a larger budget. I believe Elden Ring will be their biggest budget for A24 since Marty Supreme and Civil War. Marty Supreme was their biggest for about $60 to $80 million. I can imagine Elden Ring, just for that property alone, could cost at least $100 million to make, so it will be a big swing. They'll most likely make that budget back. Elden Ring is a very big game franchise, and I think with someone like Alex Garland behind it, I know he approached him with it. He had the solo idea, so that also has me very excited. And we'll see with this cast. I think it has a lot of potential. It'd be great. I hope it doesn't fall into those video game movie cliches. I hope it can just be a great film on its own. We've seen him tackle large ideas like Annihilation, which was cosmic sci-fi, and even Ex Machina was sci-fi, and Warfare had a lot of action and very immersive, thrilling sequences. So I hope that he can mix all these ideas that he's had before together. Let's stay tuned for that. I'll definitely be keeping up with that news. We have the Pitt Season 2. The Pitt Season 2 ended on a big high note. It has been stirring up controversy because Subriya Ganesh will not be returning as Mohan in Season 3. And it was already stirring controversy before because the character Dr. Collins, played by Tracy Ifishore, also didn't appear in Season 2. She was dropped after Season 1. They said it was just for creative reasons, especially for Mohan. They're trying to keep it very realistic. We know this. It's realistic. It's just one shift. And doctors, they shift around. They're not just going to stay in the ER. Which, okay, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. But I just hope they're not making excuses and that maybe it's not creative reasons. Like, what if it was, because they don't want to work with those actors anymore? I hope they're not just saying stupid shit. And it was creating controversy because these are not just women, but women of color being dropped off the show. So it was stirring up controversy, not just on that side, but also for people who don't like the liberal ideas that were appearing in the Pitt Season 2, mainly with the ICE commentary. There was a lot of political commentary. You could argue it's pretty heavy-handed, but I think that the Pitt actually handled it very well and with poise, and I think that it was a very good season. I don't love it as much as Season 1. To me, Season 1 was a super special introduction. They knocked it. They went all out for that. Season 2 was really good, had a lot of great ideas, still a lot of great character moments. Had some ups and downs for me, especially since I don't think it really was as impactful as the first season, but I think it was really great. I will be waiting very impatiently for Season 3. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. I would love to do a full deep dive into those 2 seasons at some point on this channel too. It was number 1 on HBO for a while, right before DTF and Euphoria. Very strong show. You have The Boys is still very mixed with fans. We're on Season 5, Episode 5 currently, that just aired. The Boys has been very controversial with people. I think ever since Season 4, people kind of turned on it because it got more political, even though it's always kind of been political and satirical of what's been going on in our day-to-day lives. It's just only gotten more heightened, I think, as it's got on. But it's always been like that, so I don't really know where people got that from. I guess they just got a little angry and realized, oh, this is actually making fun of us. But yeah, it's had some ups and downs with fans recently, not just in terms of controversies, but just in terms of the content itself. I personally have my kind of good, I have my positives and negatives with this season as well. I think it's a little stronger than season 4 already. And season 4 I didn't think was that bad, as people say. But, we'll see. It's been very high in viewership and has, some good and bad critical reviews. I think it definitely sucks that Gen V was canceled after only 2 seasons. I'm not sure where they're going with this whole Vault cinematic universe. The VCU, which already is very cringe to me and a lot of other fans, because The Boys is kind of satirical not just of politics and celebrities, but it's satirical of Marvel and DC. So the fact that they're kind of going into the same pitfalls as those has me a little concerned, because what are you trying to do with that? You have all these now spin-off shows, and now you're gonna have a prequel show with Vault Rising, which I'm excited for. I really like Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, but I'm just trying to figure out where they're going with this. They have The Boys Mexico, Vault Rising. I think they're planning more. They canceled Gen V, which I can understand because it wasn't making a lot of advancements in terms of furthering the Boys universe. But I thought it was really fun, especially for, someone in my generation, seeing people that age. And I think they actually handled the action and stuff pretty well, because it was a lot more action heavy than The Boys, which has some action, but is a lot more, thrilling and political in nature. So it really sucks that viewership dropped for Gen V. I felt like they probably struggled to find an audience, which I thought it had an audience. I thought The Boys fans liked it too, but I guess I was wrong. So we'll have to see where The Boys goes. We only have had 5 episodes. This is the final season, so I hope that they can end on a high note. I would also love to do a deep dive into all 5 seasons of The Boys in one video. That would be great. I love The Boys. Also, Euphoria has arguably been driving the most conversation amongst TV fans. It is number 1 on HBO. We're halfway about through season 3 now with 4 episodes. I think it has its strong and bad things right now about it. I'm really not that impressed with season 3. I think some people hate it, some people love it. I think we're all hate watching. You can also watch my Euphoria deep dive. I've done a deep dive of both seasons and now with the first 3 episodes. I don't know how to feel about it right now. I mean, it's a huge show. Sam Levinson knows how to stir controversy and get people talking. I think he does it on purpose at this point. But it just sucks. I think he's more focused on doing that than just crafting a strong narrative. And it's just crazy to me that, obviously it's contractual and HBO is a powerful-ass company and channel, because how the hell are they still keeping Zendaya and Jacob Elordi and Sydney Sweeney and any of these stars attached? And especially Coleman Domingo. They have Coleman Domingo on the poster. He made a little appearance. I'm like, Coleman, you're better than this. But we'll have to just see how Euphoria ends. I hope they can end with this season. It's been 7 years with 3 seasons, and everyone, you can tell, is moving on at this point. I think that they're just hanging on by a thread. But yeah, you'll see my deep dive, and I'll be doing more reviews of Euphoria to come on this channel. I have my own love and hate for the show. I've been following the show ever since 2019 when it first came out, and I was a big fan of it. And now I feel like he's almost turned on the fans and the characters themselves. So it's been a little bittersweet to keep watching. I will be tuning in every Sunday because I'm a fucking sucker for it. And like I said, I think it's more like hate watching or just seeing how he's going to shock us next. DTF ended, the show starring Jason Bateman, Linda Cardellini, and David Harbour. It overtook The Pitt for number 1 in March. That to me was one of the stronger shows of the year. I have my own interpretations with the ending and my personal positives and negatives for the show overall. I think it started off a lot stronger than it ended. However, it was a really good show. Very funny, very dark, had a good mystery in the center. I don't think the mystery was as strong as other shows that we've seen on HBO, just to name off a few, like Mayor of Easttown or True Detective. I don't think it was trying to be anything special, though, in terms of the investigation. I think it was more of a character piece, delving into, the whole no one's normal. It just looks like that from across the street. I love that line in the show. And you can tell they repeat it for a reason, because it tackled that suburban lifestyle and what people can go through in their day-to-day and the darker side of things, of relationships and of family. I would love to do more of a deep dive into DTF as well, one of my favorite shows of the year, and it would be great to do a review of that as well. You'll see my thoughts. I want to talk about the Project Hail Mary box office. It made over $600 million overall in its theater run. They extended the theater run, which was really great to hear. because it was a very strong film, great film, one of my favorites of the year. It's number 2 right now on Letterboxd behind Nirvana, the band, the myth, the show. I don't know how it did that, but right now it's like down Letterboxd. Until whoever takes away that number 1 spot, like maybe it'll be Dune or the Odyssey, Nirvana will be number 1. But Project Hail Mary is a great film. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, some of the most creative and just vibrant voices right now I see in filmmaking. We saw them with the Spider-Verse franchise, with the Jump Street franchise. They know how to craft really, really well-made, colorful films. It was shot by Greg Fraser. I love Project Hail Mary. I think it was very special, very important for this year, and a positive film for audiences to go see. You'll also be seeing a review for this. I'm playing catch up on this channel as it is very new, but I want to talk about Project Hail Mary and my favorite films and shows of the year. And because like I said, very important, very seminal for this year. It made over $600 million. I kind of thought it would make more, honestly, not just because of, the IP, but, because it's not a crazy big IP. It's not like Marvel or something, or a crazy book series. So I thought it would have made more because of the marketing and Ryan Gosling, and because it was a lot of word of mouth. But I think that people have been seeing it again more recently now that they've extended the run. So I'm hoping that it can gain more. Because, it was competing with Super Mario, which made over $800 million. Fucking insane. I'm not surprised by that. Probably will end up making more than $1 billion. And it's competing with Michael. So I'm hoping that Project Hail Mary can, maintain that consistency through box office and even award season. I could definitely see us getting a ton of nominations. Oh yeah, we have the Infinity Vision bullshit because of Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday, not sure how to feel about this whole thing. I think I'm more excited for Brand New Day personally. But now we've seen that, first of all, Disney has been making a bunch of budget cuts. They laid off thousands of their employees, which is that was really sad to hear. People that have been with the company for years. So I think they're very desperate to take big swings, but also to see where they can save money and gain money in box office. Doomsday is competing with Dune 3 for IMAX screens. Dune 3 took all of the IMAX screens, so now they scrambled and made Infinity Vision, which to me is like, okay, they're just taking a lot of the bigger screens already existing in a lot of these cinemas and calling it Infinity Vision because they couldn't get the IMAX, which to me is so hilarious and sad, and it reeks of desperation in my opinion. I mean, when I heard that news, I was like, what? Like, I thought it was like a fucking joke. But they really are trying to compete with Dune 3. They probably honestly should have moved that date back or something to November. Go all out in November, and then Dune 3 can just have its December run. But they're maintaining that spot. They're trying to maintain some confidence, even though it doesn't seem confident to me at this point. We'll have to see. But yeah, to me, it just seems like Marvel, Disney in general, has just been so up and down. We have the Mandalorian film coming out, which I feel like no one's even been really talking about. I don't know if anyone's going to see it. It might make some money, but until Starfighter, I'm not really going to be seeing that. I mean, like, why is that your first film coming back after all these years for Star Wars? Whatever. But yeah, we see that with the Infinity Vision. We'll see. I mean, it'll just be a bigger screen, but it won't be IMAX. That's for damn sure. Dune 3 is definitely the big topic of discussion for cinephiles right now. I think it's great to see that Denis Villeneuve has made a quality franchise with this. It could go down as one of the best trilogies, up there with, say, a Lord of the Rings or a Dark Knight. Dune 3 will be taking all the IMAX screens. Oh, there was also the big controversy. They were reselling the fucking 70mm tickets, which sold out like within fucking minutes because bots were taking them and reselling them for thousands of dollars, which is crazy to me that we're even talking about movie tickets right now being resold as if they're concert tickets. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Why is that even a thing right now? But yeah, Dune 3 has crazy hype. I mean, first of all, I just want to say it's great to see that fans are gravitating so much toward the Dune franchise, and with each film it's been garnering more attention, and sure, it's based off of Frank Herbert's novels, but I'm surprised because it's a very strange, war sci-fi trilogy, so I'm glad that it's doing numbers and that it's making people like Marvel and Doomsday nervous, because it's going to be a bigger fucking swing. I myself am a lot more excited for Brand New Day than Doomsday. You can see me very seated for Dune 3, Odyssey, and Brand New Day. I think even more so compared to Doomsday. I'll be seeing it, but you already know what me and a lot of others are going to be seeing first on the Doomsday. In more TV show news, we have the second season of Overcompensating filming, the A24 Prime Video show. I unfortunately wasn't able to watch season 1. I need to go back and watch it. I was really interested in seeing it. I heard a lot of great discourse about it. I know people were fans of it. It seemed like it was really funny and it had a lot to say. Yeah, I'm glad that it's coming back for a second season and it's currently filming, so we'll be seeing that pretty soon. I was able to see Speed Racer and Mother Mary. I know that's kind of a weird combo. I saw Speed Racer on Wednesday, saw Mother Mary on Thursday. Kind of an interesting theater experiences for both. I have a weird history with Speed Racer. When I was little, I really loved that film. I mean, I was like, what, 7 or 8 probably when it came out? And then, I think as a lot of us grew up, I don't know how people feel. I think people can relate to me, though, where in middle school to high school, I think I definitely dropped off from it because I thought it was just kind of stupid. I thought the effects were really bad. I don't think I really understood it after a while. But then now, seeing it with fresh eyes, seeing it on the big screen, it sucks I couldn't see it in fucking IMAX because I don't know why I procrastinated on that day and a lot of it was sold out. But now seeing with this re-release and seeing that people are giving it praise again, especially since I didn't realize years ago it was a big fucking flop. It only made $93 million on a $120 million budget, which that's a big flop, especially for the Wachowskis. I would have thought that people would have seen a big project like Speed Racer directed by a great duo behind The Matrix, which it sucks that they've also had their own up and down their own ups and downs with their career. Jupiter Ascending was fucking horrible. Matrix Resurrection was just super fucking mid. But it was great seeing Speed Racer again. I thought it was a really cool, fun experience. It's kind of corny on purpose. It's super cartoony. I think I realize that now. Literally every shot is like a cartoon come to life, and they use so many creative techniques and decisions to really bring it to life. A lot of great cinematography, great color. Like, movies do not look like that anymore. No one would ever make another Speed Racer by any means. And, oh yeah, Mother Mary was interesting. It definitely won't get any attention, especially since they're releasing it in the same time frame as Anne Hathaway's other film, Devil Wears Prada 2, where it's like, damn, I mean, I don't know why they released it around the same time as that, because her performance at Mother Mary will probably get no attention. I thought she was great at Mother Mary, and she'll probably be very great in Devil Wears Prada 2. She's a great actress. She can tackle a lot of different themes. But Mother Mary, as a film, not very good. You probably won't really see me do a review for this. I gave it about a 3 on Letterboxd, maybe a 3, 3.5. I thought it had some strong things. It had some interesting messaging, very good cinematography, great costume design, very good acting. But I thought it didn't really do much for me emotionally or just as a film itself. But so yeah, it's kind of crazy, like compared to Devil Wears Prada 2, which probably will make a lot of money. Even though I know it's been causing kind of some controversies, people have their reservations about it in general because it is just a sequel for sequel's sake, but I've been hearing some good things, so we'll see what people think about that as well. Okay, I want to end off with talking about the drama because that's also one of my favorite films of the year. I think it was very important for this year, caused a lot of crazy discourse, caused some controversies, it offended a lot of people. I mean, I can understand why people were offended because of the topic itself that was The Secret. But then again, I mean, aren't a lot of us going to see this film because of that trailer and knowing it was probably going to be a controversial secret that she was holding? So I don't know why we were that surprised, but I can understand why people were taken aback by it. But it was a strong film. I think it actually had a lot to say about relationships and how people react to that. I mean, we've seen Christopher Borgli tackle these themes, in something like Dream Scenario, which was literally about being canceled. And now with another film, we have more themes about people's perception of you and how it can be negative. Yeah, I thought it was a very strong film, and it also made a lot of money. It made over $100 million on a $28 million budget, which to me is very impressive, especially for a pretty low to mid-range budget for a drama romance. It wasn't some action film. It wasn't an A24 horror film. It was an A24 drama with some dark comedy sprinkled throughout. And sure, a lot of that is thanks to the great marketing and the performances from Rob and Zendaya having big A-list actors in a smaller film like this. But it worked, and I fucking love that. It's actual profit, and I think it'll mean a lot for more films to come like this. They can take more risks like that. So that was amazing news. I'm really fucking excited to see, more of what Rob and Zendaya are doing this year. I'm really hyped for the Odyssey. They've been making a lot of advancements for that. Christopher Nolan is taking a lot of big swings. The Odyssey has also been a big topic of conversation. People think it's not accurate enough. I kind of feel like I wonder if some of the anticipation is kind of declining, especially after these other announcements for films like Dune and Brand New Day. I think Odyssey has taken a little bit of a step back, but it'll still dominate come that season. In July, I will fucking be there. So yeah, a lot of great news, a lot of good films coming out, a lot of negative things. Letterboxd Selling has me a little worried. We'll have to see where that goes. I mean, I just hope that they don't change for the worst. I'm excited for a lot of this movie news, these TV shows that were ending and the TV shows that are getting started. I love TV. I've been following a lot of shows recently. Okay, rookies, that about concludes this video. You can expect more reviews on Wednesdays and Fridays, as well as more episodes like this to come certain months. I really appreciate everybody supporting and watching as this channel grows. You can expect my Michael and Euphoria deep dive reviews right there in the description. You can see more reviews on Wednesdays and Fridays. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your fucking friends about Rookie Media. Thank you. Peace.